Today's video, Become the Man Women, Respect, Desire and Love, start now. Welcome to another video where I teach you how to become a real man of value, attract the right women, and build respect everywhere you go. I'm talking directly to you, brother, because I know what it feels like to be overlooked, ignored, doubted, and to wonder if real respect, real love, and real confidence were ever meant for you. I'm telling you this because I've been there, on the edge of giving up, thinking I had to chase love, prove myself, or beg for validation. But listen to me carefully, because there is a shift, a mindset, a way of living that turns everything around, where you stop chasing and start attracting, where you don't ask for respect, you command it without saying a word. Stay with me, because what I'm about to tell you may change everything. There's something I want you to understand right now. Most men live their entire lives feeling invisible. They walk into a room and no one notices. They speak and nobody truly listens. They try to love but end up feeling unappreciated or taken for granted. They go to sleep at night wondering, what do some men have that I don't? Why do they get respect, admiration, love, while I'm left trying, chasing, hoping? Let me tell you something. I felt exactly the same way. I wasn't born confident. I wasn't the guy women naturally adored or respected. I was the guy who tried hard. I sent long messages. I tried to prove that I cared. I thought effort alone would get me love, value, respect. I thought being nice was enough. But one day I realized trying to convince people of your worth only shows them that you don't believe in it yourself. That was the day things changed. Because I finally understood something powerful. You don't attract respect by asking for it. You don't get love by chasing it. You don't earn desire by constantly trying to prove your value. You get all of that when you become a man who lives with purpose, discipline, confidence, and direction. A man who doesn't beg for attention, but naturally attracts it. And yes, women feel it. People feel it. The world feels it. And I want to talk to you like there's no one else here right now, just you and me. Maybe you're tired of feeling like the supporting character in your own life. Maybe you're stuck watching other men being chosen while you're ignored. Maybe you're tired of chasing love, chasing approval, chasing validation. You're tired of pretending everything's fine, while deep down you know something is missing. And brother, I get it, because I've lived it. I remember sitting in my car one night, just staring at the steering wheel, frustrated, angry, tired of pretending that being nice or available would make someone love me. I didn't realize back then, you don't win respect by being available. You win respect by being valuable. I realized something crucial. You don't need to be more for others. You need to become more for yourself. Read that again. This whole game, respect, attraction, desire, love, it doesn't start with them. It starts with you, around you, within you. Real love doesn't chase. Real respect doesn't beg. Real attraction doesn't try. It just is. Because confidence isn't built from validation. It's built from identity. So let's talk about the man I know you can become. The man who doesn't get desperate when a woman pulls away because he knows he is enough. The man who doesn't fight to be heard. People listen because his presence speaks before his words do. The man who doesn't ask for respect because his standards demand it. Women feel this. They feel when a man is grounded. They feel when a man is disciplined. They feel when a man doesn't need them, but chooses them. And that, my friend, is the difference. And no, you don't need to be rich. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to look like those alpha social media illusions. That's not what makes a man desirable. That's not what earns respect. You want to know the real secret. Its presence, its self-mastery, its purpose, its emotional strength, its control. It's waking up every day with direction. It's walking with purpose. It's speaking with clarity. It's knowing who you are and never shrinking to make others comfortable. Because women are not attracted to perfection. They are attracted to certainty. Not to men who have everything, but to men who are building something. And maybe right now you're not where you want to be. Maybe your life looks average. Maybe you feel stuck, unsure, lost. That's okay. The beginning is not supposed to look like the end. But if something inside you is telling you that you have more potential, you're already ahead of 90% of men. Because awareness is the first step to transformation. So here's what I want you to do right now. Stop chasing, start becoming. Stop begging, start building. Stop asking for respect, and become the kind of man who naturally earns it. When you shift from chasing women to building your kingdom, something amazing happens. You stop being the seeker, and you become the prize. And that's when everything changes, so sit tight. You're about to learn how men of value think, how they move, how they attract, without chasing. You're about to understand why respect, admiration, and love are not things you search for. They are things you attract when you become a man who leads, who stands strong, and who knows his worth. This is not just advice. It's a shift, a transformation. And if you truly absorb what I'm about to share, you may never see yourself the same way again. You know why most men suffer silently, why they feel stuck, unseen and unappreciated, not just by women, but by the world. It's because deep down, they've been conditioned to believe that love, respect, and admiration are given to them by others. That they must earn it through approval, through effort, through proving themselves. But let me tell you a hard truth. The moment you try to earn respect from others, you've already lost your own. Most men don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because their mindset is built on seeking validation instead of building value. That one shift alone is what separates the men who are admired from the men who are ignored. Let's get brutally honest. Most men are operating from a place of neediness. They don't even realize it, but it's there, in the way they text, the way they behave, the way they react when a woman pulls away or when life doesn't give them attention. They think being available, being nice, being overly accommodating will win love and respect. It won't, because attention doesn't create attraction, approval doesn't build respect, and effort alone does not create desire. Let me show you how this plays out. A man meets a woman he likes. Suddenly his whole identity shifts, his schedule changes, his emotions get attached. His confidence is now tied to how she responds. If she replies fast, he feels good. If she takes too long, he starts losing control. He becomes anxious, overthinking, monitoring her phone behavior, desperately trying to regain control, not of her, but of how he feels. That emotional neediness, that insecurity, it's like a scent. Women feel it even when you don't speak, and that's why she pulls away. Not because she doesn't like him, but because he loses his center. Women don't lose interest because a man is too kind, too loving, or too genuine. No, women pull away when a man loses his sense of self. It's not about being nice or rude. It's about being grounded. A man who knows himself, a man who doesn't abandon his principles because of her emotions. A man who doesn't chase because he is too focused on his own mission. This is what most men don't understand. Women are not drawn to men who need them. They are drawn to men who don't need anyone, but willingly choose them. That's what makes a woman respect you. That's what makes her desire you. That's what makes her love you. It's psychological. It's instinctive. Think about it. Women test men, not to break them, but to find out if they can handle life. She doesn't want a perfect man. She wants a centered man. She wants to feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually. She wants to feel that you won't collapse when life gets hard. But here's the problem. Most men panic when they feel rejected. They immediately try to fix, to chase, to argue, to explain. They give away their power because they don't understand one thing. Power is not taken from you. You give it away. Every time you react emotionally, every time you chase, every time you try to convince someone of your value, you hand over your power. And let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Love does not respond to begging. Respect does not respond to explaining. Desire does not respond to convincing. They respond to presence, strength, self-mastery, masculinity. And this has nothing to do with being loud, aggressive, dominant, or arrogant. No, Masculinity is not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself. It's about being calm when others panic. It's about thinking before reacting. It's about being emotionally stable. It's about being the man who doesn't disappear when things get hard. Because women don't want a man who never struggles. They want a man who never abandons himself when he struggles. Let me tell you something powerful. A woman doesn't fall in love with a man's lifestyle, looks, or income. She falls in love with his energy, his grounded presence, the way he moves with certainty, even when life is uncertain. She watches how you react when you're ignored. She notices how you handle setbacks. She feels if you truly love yourself or if you're just looking for someone to do it for you. Women want a man who can love them deeply, but who doesn't need them to feel complete. Let that sink in, because the psychology of attraction is simple. A woman is drawn to a man who has something stronger than her beauty, her attention, or her emotions. His mission, his identity, his emotional strength. That's why a man who lives with purpose, discipline, and direction doesn't panic when she's distant. He doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He doesn't force connection. He simply returns to building. He returns to improving. He refocuses on his craft, his life, his vision, because a man of purpose does not chase love. He attracts it. He does not ask for respect. His standards demand it. He does not seek validation. He is validation. And when a man embodies that, everything changes. Women who once ignored him now notice. People who doubted him now listen. Situations that once intimidated him now fuel his growth. This is not manipulation. This is transformation. Stop thinking like a boy trying to be liked. Start becoming a man who is valued. And I want you to understand this deeply. Respect is not something you get. It is something you become. Attraction is not something you chase. It is something you command. Love is not something you search for. It is something you build through identity, purpose, and strength. So now that you understand why men struggle and why chasing never works, and why women respond to strength, not desperation, it's time to flip the script. It's time to stop chasing and start becoming. Because when you master this shift, from needing love to embodying value, that's when women stop being the goal. They become the reward. Transformation doesn't start when a woman notices you. It doesn't start when people finally begin respecting you. Transformation begins when you start living differently, even when nobody is watching. The shift happens the moment you stop living for approval and start living with purpose. Men ask me all the time, how do I get women to respect me? They're asking the wrong question. The real question is, how do I become a man who naturally earns respect without asking for it? Because respect, attraction, and desire are not things you do, they are things you become. So let's talk about transformation, real transformation, not hype, not quick tricks, not fake confidence. I'm talking about becoming a man whose presence communicates value without saying a word. Let's start with something simple yet powerful: your posture, your walk, your physical presence. Do you know what women and people notice before anything else? Your energy when you walk into a room. Not your looks, not your clothes, your energy. You know the guy who walks in quietly, but people look anyway? That's not luck. That's presence, calm, grounded, controlled energy. He doesn't rush. He doesn't shrink himself. He walks with intention, slow, controlled, confident. His shoulders are back, chest open, not exaggerated, just relaxed and natural. His eyes are steady, not darting around anxiously. He doesn't look for approval, he arrives. That's the first shift. Stop entering rooms, start arriving. Next, your voice. Your voice is one of your most powerful tools. Not just what you say, but how you say it. Weak men talk fast, trying to fill the silence, seeking a reaction. Strong men speak slowly, calmly, confidently, as if every word matters. They are comfortable with pauses. They don't rush because they are never desperate to be heard. Listen, Speaking slower doesn't just make you sound confident, it makes people feel your certainty. When a man speaks with certainty, people listen. Women don't just hear you, they feel you. Now, emotional control. This is where most men fail. Not in looks, not in money, not in effort. They fail in emotional stability. A man without emotional control will always chase because his feelings control him. But a man who masters his emotions becomes mysterious, magnetic, and grounded. He doesn't react, he responds. He's not thrown off by silence, by late replies, by rejection, by small tests. He understands something key. A woman's tests are not attacks. They are invitations to prove your emotional strength. She isn't trying to break you, she's checking to see if you can handle her world. Most men fail those tests because they take things personally. They become defensive, they explain too much, they chase, they try to fix, they lose their center. But a grounded man, he remains calm. He doesn't argue, doesn't panic, doesn't overshare. He simply smiles because he knows who he is. And when you know who you are, no one else defines your worth. Let me teach you something powerful. Men who crave approval reveal insecurity. Men who carry purpose reveal strength. A man of purpose is not always available. He doesn't respond instantly, not because he's playing games, but because he's building, he's training, he's improving. His time has value because he values himself. Women don't fall in love with your availability. They fall in love with your direction. That's masculine energy. Masculine energy is not aggression, not dominance, not control. It is direction, purpose, the ability to stay centered. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Let's talk about how a high-value man carries himself. He does not overshare to be liked. He speaks with intention. He does not explain his worth. He demonstrates it through actions. He does not chase attention. He attracts it effortlessly. He does not react to pressure. He becomes calmer under pressure. He does not try to impress. He simply expresses who he is. His presence says, "I know where I'm going. You can walk with me, but I'm not stopping. Now let's go deeper." Mystery, presence, value. Mystery is not silence. Mystery is self-control. It's not telling everything you think. It's letting people wonder what you're thinking. It's asking good questions instead of talking about yourself. It's making eye contact without rushing to speak. It's being calm, deliberate, intentional. When you listen more than you speak, and when you speak, you do it with purpose. People feel your presence. You become memorable without trying. This is how you create attraction, not by trying to be interesting, but by being interested. Because confident men are not eager to prove themselves. They are curious about others, and women love this. Because it shows emotional intelligence, it shows stability, it shows self-worth. Now let's talk about standards. A high-value man does not just chase women. He chooses carefully. He doesn't tolerate disrespect. He doesn't tolerate emotional games. He doesn't abandon his values for attraction. A woman respects a man who respects himself, and that means you don't argue to prove your point. You don't chase someone who pulls away. You don't beg to stay in someone's life. You have boundaries. You have direction. You have purpose. And that is what separates men who are wanted from men who are ignored. Remember this, a woman is not impressed when you change for her. She is impressed when you grow for yourself. So let's summarize the mindset of real transformation. I don't chase, I attract. I don't react, I respond. I don't seek attention, I command respect. I don't break under pressure, I become calmer. I don't ask for approval, I live in purpose. I don't need love, I give love, but I never lose myself. Because at the end of the day, true masculinity is not about being hard. It's about being centered, grounded, purpose-driven, emotionally unshakable. That's the man women respect. That's the man women desire. That's the man women love. And when you become that man, everything else follows. Let's get practical. Because transformation doesn't just live in your mind. It must be applied in real life. Let's take common situations, texting, dating, workplace, social settings, when she pulls away, and show exactly how a high-value man responds. When most men hear advice like be confident, they think it's just about attitude or pretending to be strong. But confidence isn't a performance, it's a lifestyle. It's the way you speak, react, move, and decide. And when you embody true confidence, your behavior changes in every situation. Let's start with texting, where most men ruin attraction without realizing. A low-value man gets a text from a woman, and instantly everything changes. His emotions spike. He responds immediately. He tries to be funny, charming, impressive. He sends long replies, uses emojis, tries hard to keep her engaged, and becomes anxious if she slows down. A high-value man. His life does not stop because of a text. He responds calmly when he is actually available, without rushing. His texts are clear, intentional, and not emotionally excessive. He doesn't send essays. He doesn't chase attention. He doesn't try to impress. His message sounds like, "Hey, how's your week going? Sounds good. Let's catch up Friday." "All right, busy day for me. Have a good one." Clear, direct, calm. That's masculine energy. He doesn't ask, "Did I say something wrong?" He doesn't panic when she delays a reply because he isn't tied emotionally to her response. And that alone makes him more attractive than 95% of men. Now let's look at when she pulls away. Most men panic. They ask questions, try to fix things, become clingy, emotional, or go into overdrive trying to prove worth. A high-value man understands that emotional distance is natural. He doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't chase. Instead, he refocuses on himself. He respects space. He returns to his routine, his mission, his discipline. And his energy says, "I don't panic when you pull away. I don't beg for closeness. I stay centered." She feels that. And that emotional strength pulls her back. Not words, not pressure, not explanations. Presence. Now, dating. Most men show up trying to entertain, trying to impress. They talk too much, brag, overshare, and constantly monitor her reactions. A high-value man leads the interaction calmly. He listens more than he speaks. He doesn't fill every silence. He asks meaningful questions. He gives eye contact. He doesn't lean in too much physically or emotionally. He isn't waiting for her approval. He is evaluating her presence, her energy, her character. She feels that difference. She feels that you are not there just to win her over. You are there to decide if she fits into your life. That's what makes you attractive, not performance, but standards. Now let's talk about workplace confidence. Low-value behavior looks like needing validation, seeking credit, worrying about what others think, being afraid to speak up. High-value behavior looks like calm presence. When a high-value man speaks in a meeting, he doesn't rush. He doesn't over-explain. He communicates clearly with certainty. He doesn't need to convince others. He presents his ideas with conviction. His body language is relaxed but firm. His voice is steady and measured. He isn't controlled by stress. He's controlled by principle. People don't respect frantic energy. They respect grounded energy. Now, social situations. You're at a gathering. Most men try hard to get attention, to look social, to be impressive. They force conversation. They try to be the entertaining one. The high-value man? He doesn't seek attention. He attracts it naturally. He's not overly loud. He's not trying to be seen. He's composed. He talks to one or two people with genuine presence. He doesn't force connection. He allows it. People feel comfortable around him. Not because he tries to please them, but because his calm confidence gives them space to relax. Now let's talk about cold approach. Talking to a woman you've never met. Most men approach nervously, apologetically, with hesitant energy. "Hey, sorry to bother you. I'm not really good at this, but..." A high-value man approaches with calmness. No performance, no fear. No neediness, something like, "Hey, I had to come say hello. You have a calm presence, I like that." Simple, observational, grounded. He doesn't wait desperately for the perfect response. He just starts a conversation, and if she's not interested, He doesn't break. He doesn't try harder. He doesn't take it personally. He simply says, "No problem, have a good day," and walks away, still whole. Rejection doesn't define him, because her opinion never defined him in the first place. Now let's talk about something powerful. Leadership in relationships. Most men think leadership means control. It doesn't. Masculine leadership is clarity, direction, and emotional strength. Low-value men constantly ask, "What do you want to do? What do you want to eat? Where do you want to go?" High-value men lead, "Let's go for dinner at 7. There's a cafe I think you'll love. I'll pick you up at 6. Not controlling, not dominating, just leading with certainty. Women feel safe when a man has direction. Safety creates trust. Trust creates connection. Connection builds desire. Desire builds passion. Finally, let's talk about conflict. Low-value men argue to win. They raise their voice. They fight to be right. High-value men don't argue. They maintain control. They don't respond emotionally. They don't attack or defend. They simply maintain their frame. "I understand how you feel, but I don't raise my voice. We'll talk calmly, or we'll talk later." That's emotional leadership. That's control. That's confidence. Let's put it all together now. When she pulls away, you remain calm. When she takes long to reply, you respect her space. When she tests you, you don't get reactive. When she's emotional, you don't mirror it, you ground it. When she wants direction, you lead with clarity, not control. Because when a man is truly centered, everything around him becomes calmer. When a man is truly confident, everything around him becomes attracted. And when a man is truly valuable, love, respect, and desire are no longer things he chases. They are things he naturally attracts. And now we've reached the moment where everything we talked about comes together. We've explored where the problem starts, how men lose themselves in the chase for validation, how transformation begins when you reclaim your emotional power, and how a high-value man moves differently, speaks differently, lives differently. But here's the truth. None of this matters if you don't take action. Knowledge without transformation is just entertainment. Wisdom without execution changes nothing. The reason some men seem effortlessly respected, desired, admired, it's not because they're smarter or luckier. It's because they live what they know. They embody it. They get up every day and choose to be intentional, disciplined, grounded, confident, and purpose-driven. They don't just think like men of value. They act like it. Listen to me carefully. Women don't just fall in love with attractive men. They fall in love with men who are becoming more every day. Men who are evolving, improving, and building. Men who don't chase attention, but build themselves into the kind of men who command respect. This journey you're on, it's not about trying to win someone over. It's about building a life so grounded, so rich in purpose, so aligned with principles, that the right people naturally find their place in it. It's not about learning tricks. It's about mastering self-respect, because everything you want, respect, attraction, leadership, admiration, passion, comes down to one core truth. The world responds to how you treat yourself. If you respect yourself, people will respect you. If you value yourself, women will value you. If you lead yourself, others will trust your leadership. If you love yourself, not in arrogance but in strength, others will feel safe loving you. Stop chasing love and start building a life you can love. Stop begging for attention and start becoming someone worth paying attention to. Stop trying to look confident and start living with conviction. Do you know what makes a man powerful? Not muscles, not money, not charm, but certainty. Certainty in his decisions, certainty in his values, certainty in his direction, certainty in his identity. He is not loud, he is not desperate, he is not trying, he is rooted. He is calm, grounded, present, focused. He doesn't seek respect. He lives in a way that demands it. And when women feel that kind of energy, something shifts. Their guard drops. Their curiosity grows. Their attraction deepens. Because a strong woman does not want to lead a man. She wants to trust his strength. So let me leave you with a perspective that changed my life. You don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. If you want loyalty, be loyal to your principles. If you want trust, be dependable. If you want respect, live by standards. If you want love, become emotionally secure, not emotionally needy. Because when you are abundant within yourself, you don't cling, you don't chase, you don't settle. You choose, you lead, you attract. So what happens next? You begin. Today, not tomorrow. Now, not someday. You start showing up differently. You stop explaining your worth. You start walking slower, talking calmer, leading stronger, feeling deeper, living clearer. You stop chasing empty approval and start building real character, because becoming a man of value is not something you have. It's something you become, day by day, decision by decision. And it starts with one question: who must I become? Let that question live in your mind. Let it shape your actions. Let it guide your discipline, not for a woman, not for society, but for you. Because when you become that man, women will respect you, women will desire you, and the right woman will love you, not for what you do for her, but for who you are. And that, my brother, is when everything changes. Now, if this spoke to you, if something deep inside you woke up today, then that means you're ready. You're ready to stop chasing and start building. You're ready to stop doubting and start leading. You're ready to stop waiting and start becoming. This is your time. Your next chapter begins now. Become the man of value. Become the man of strength. Become the man of purpose. Become the man women respect, desire, and love. It all starts with the decision you make. Right now, before you go, remember this: you don't become a high-value man overnight. It's not about being perfect, it's about improving step by step. Real men don't chase, they attract. Real men don't beg, they build value. And real men don't look for validation. They become the kind of man that doesn't need it. If this video helped you, then do something most men never do. Take action. Subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video with a brother who needs to hear this message. And tell me in the comments, what kind of man are you becoming from now on? I'll be here to guide you. Stay strong, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next video.